for being on tonight. Bill, I want to begin with you. What do you make of, I'm going to go to the last question I sort of ended with before I introduced you all, and that is, it's still happening, even in the last few weeks. But why is it that political campaigns still in 2022 think that this works?
Because it does. They're playing to people's prejudices. They're trying to manipulate them. They're trying to make them the candidates scarier, which in the case of these racial imaging is to make them darker. You showed some of the examples that I called attention to in the article I wrote for the Bulwark, and you're right. I mean, the campaigns are kind of unapologetic about doing this. They say, oh, we didn't mean to do it, or like you said, the printer's fault, or we're just using an effect on the photograph. They do it with white candidates as well, all of this stuff. And they even, they're kind of like a, how dare you suggest that we're doing something untoward or something racist and running these ads. You're just trying to cover up for the Democrats' own failures. It's just, you know, really kind of ugly and disagreeable politics writ large.
And let me just follow up on something you said. They do it to whites also. Are you saying that they change the skin tone of a white person to make a white person look darker and somehow think that they're going to get an edge there?
Yeah, well, it's like I reached out to Brian Kemp's campaign and asked about the images you showed where Stacey Abrams was shown noticeably darker from an ad that she ran to an ad that they ran. And they sent back some images in which, you know, the Abrams campaign had darkened images of Brian Kemp, but I don't think it's, or used a filter of some kind on Brian Kemp's image. I don't think it's quite the same thing. When you're exaggerating racial features or darkness, you're trying to manipulate people by playing to fears, even if it's subconscious level. There was a study that was done by Public Opinion Quarterly in 2015, which talked about how John McCain's campaign had darkened images of Barack Obama in the 2008 election. And it talked about studies that showed that this was a way to trigger people's fears, to get them scared of the candidate, and that certain studies had shown that even very slight changes in racial characteristics or darkening had an impact on people's perception of that candidate.
Well, I can say one thing. If you try to darken the skin of a white candidate, there's a reason that, you know, suntan studios were a big hit. You know, people who are white like to darken their skin. It's considered beautiful to have a nice tan. Paris, let me ask you, as the White House Director of Black Outreach, how do you put all this together? Because on one hand, you were working for a Republican president, and on the other hand, you're trying to reach black voters. Does this kind of thing piss off a black voter? Or if someone appears darker in a campaign ad, could it endear them to the candidate more?
Well, you know, I think that as someone who is a person of color, a black American, who is acutely aware of colorism as a darker skinned black American, I am always sensitive to lighting and how I appear in television, on photographs and things of that nature. And I have been in many occasions where pictures have been taken of me and images reflected on television where the lighting has been poor and I've come across very dark. Now, I don't run and say that the network I was on, if I was in a studio, or the photograph that was taken, if it was at an event, the person or the company was racist. I just think that a lot of times they're not prepared to have accommodations for a darker skinned person with the things that they do. The issue at hand is intent. And yes, I think the intent is to make the opponent look bad. We've seen it with white candidates as well, in terms of if it was President Trump, making him look more orange or taking an unflattering angle of certain candidates to make them look fat or to make them look older or to make them look more washed out. So the question goes to intent. Is the intent to be racist, or is the intent to make them look bad?
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.